Hey, this is Aaron, and today I'm with the 2021 Mazda MX-5, better known as the Miata. So, really fun little car. Let me move around a little bit so you can kind of get that side angled profile there. Really great car. So under the hood here, you've got a 181 horsepower coming from a little 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. That runs to the rear wheels. So this is rear-wheel drive like Miatas have always been, and it is lots of fun because of it. So it is a very tiny car, 2 seats. The white leather in here is new this year. We'll do a walk around in a minute. But I just want to talk about how it looks and how it drives. It hasn't changed very much. The new version of the Miata came out in, I believe it was 2016. Could be a little wrong on that, but somewhere in there. I'll fix it somewhere on the screen if I'm wrong. But it hasn't changed a whole ton since, but this car doesn't need to change much. This is fun out of the box. That's what it's for, and it's really good at it. So let's talk about the side profile a little bit, and then I'll talk about some more details of this particular one. Here it is from the side. You can see it is convertible. This is the hardtop convertible, so the top does its own thing. I'll show you a video of how that looks. But yeah, it goes up and down. You can also probably see that white leather interior a little bit better from here. And the 17-inch wheels, which are beautiful wheels, very airy and light looking, and those are high-performance tires on this. You can also get it with all-season tires if you want to. It has just a great profile, so this is pretty classic. Let me walk in and give you some perspective. So you can see how tiny it is compared to me. I'm 6'3". I most likely outweigh this car. Anyway, look at the lines on this. Just follow them. It's got the kind of shark nose that the MX-5 has had most of its lifespan. And then you can see these are very accentuated haunches up front to accentuate that steering. And it dips a little bit and then crowns slightly in the middle, but mostly it dips, which is unusual for a sports car, because most sports cars, they want to emphasize the engine. This car wants to emphasize the short wheelbase and those rear tires. So you see how it flows along and it kind of dips a little bit. Classic Coke bottle going on right there. And then it flares a lot right here. That huge flare, and then these little mudguard things. Those really accentuate the rear-wheel drive for this car. So you end up with that going on, and then this roof tilt coming down. It's a pretty classic coupe shape. So pretty classic sporting coupe shape. So that you end up with this well-defined trunk, which almost, but not quite, indicates it could be mid-engine. It's not, but this is a common thing, roofline and stuff in Lotus. You'll see it in, who else does that? Alfa Romeo 4C. You'll also see it in some of the older and smaller Lamborghinis, things like that. So it's a very classic look. You see this same sort of thing on most iterations of the Corvette in the last 2 or 3 generations. So really nicely done. You can see there's very little overhang in the back, almost none in the front. There's more than it looks like there is, but that's because of the shape. It's that shark nose that kind of curves like this. I can't find words. So a wonderful shape for this car. Now, drive quality is really good. So one of the things that Miata has always been known for is the ability to just feel fun every time you drive it. And this always feels fun. 6-speed manual transmission in this one. You can get an automatic. Not sure why you would, but you can. Rear-wheel drive is the only option. There is no all-wheel drive for this. And again, don't know why you'd want that. It might make you feel better in bad weather, but if it's bad weather and you can't drive this rear-wheel car in it, you don't need to be driving. That's kind of the spirit of this. This is nobody's primary car. Most people are going to have this as a secondary fun car, and they'll have something else that is their primary car. That's what you take out, you know, in the bad weather and potentially ding it up. So wonderful, wonderful setup. I really like this car. So I'm not going to show you the trunk because the trunk is kind of irrelevant. It's tiny, tiny. I don't remember the number, but I think it's slightly over 2 cubic feet. It's puny. You can get a carry-on in there. How's that? Maybe 2 of them if you really stuff them. You know, act like you're in the back rows of the airplane and just shove it in there. That's the only way it's gonna work. So let's talk about the interior a little bit. So before I get in the car and completely block the view, I want you to get a load of this white leather. This is new this year. This is something that Mazda added just for 2021. It'll probably stick around for a few years, but it's really, really pretty. This white leather is really nicely done. You can see it's ventilated. This does not have vented seating in that there's no air conditioning coming through it, but it is ventilated so that you don't get swamp butt while you're sitting in it. There are perforations in the back of the headrest. There are speakers in those headrests. This is the Grand Touring model. So I'm going to try to move it a little bit. You can just see those vents right there. So those are speakers in the headrest there. You can see the drink holders right there in the middle. You can see the shifter right over there. And the handbrake, which is set, of course, because it's me. Nice interior, kind of cramped if you're a big dude like me. I'll show you what I mean. Hopefully I'm not jerking the camera around too much. So when I get in, I do like I do with most sports cars. Put the right foot in, aim your butt, fall into place. Really nice interior though. Once I'm in it, it feels really good. I am a little slightly too tall for this, by probably half an inch, maybe an inch. When the roof is all the way up, it does press my head. I do have to hunch. But again, I'm tall. This is a tiny, tiny car. Otherwise, I get in and out of it just fine. The doors swing to pretty close to 90 degrees. And the seating is nice and comfortable, and as long as you don't have serious mobility issues, you should be able to get in and out of this car fairly easily. Shifting is wonderful in this car. The clutch requires a little bit of learning, probably only for me. I'm kind of used to like Subaru clutches that are very, very stiff and positive. This is a little looser, more like maybe Ford. Mazda knows how to make a really good manual transmission though, and this one is nice and smooth. I had to spend a little time to learn the release, especially in first gear to just get started. I had to learn the release. You can be much softer on this one than you can be in other cars, so a little slower release instead of that plop like you would have in a serious sports car. Nobody in their right mind would ever call a MX-5 Miata a serious sports car. It's a fun sports car. There are people that race these. I think they're crazy, but whatever. I think this car is lots of fun to drive. The name of this particular package, Grand Touring, kind of names what this is for. This is a fun driving, long distance even car. This is a car that is fun to drive at all times. It's not meant to take checkered flags. It's not meant to smoke people with a light or whatever. You can do that, but it's not really meant for that. It is meant for having a good time on a long, nice drive. It's good at country roads. It feels really nice. You get lots of steering response. You get lots of return and engagement. So you feel the pedals, you feel the steering, you feel the car moving, but not so much that it jostles you constantly. So you don't end up in like a WRX where you're going to have to get out every couple hundred miles because you might suffer kidney failure otherwise. It's not that kind of jostle. It feels really good. So great job. And again, spirit of Miata, it's all about the drive. So I never showed you the rear of the car. I figured I would do it now. Again, this is the Mazda MX-5 Miata, the 2021 model in Grand Touring. This is a great little car. So that's about all I got. I think I've gone over everything I need to go over. 2021 model. That's it. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.